is Rebecca Orr, and I'm the Math District Resource Teacher. Today we'll be looking at the first grade add and subtract within 100 for the Math Dive in 5. Before we begin, I want you to go ahead and look at the two tasks below. I want you to pause the video, and as you're working through the tasks, complete them as if a student would. Think about what strategies and tools you would want students to use for adding and subtracting 1- and 2-digit numbers. Welcome back. Now let's take a look at the progression within the best standards. Here's a look at what kindergartners were expected to know by the end of last year. They were adding and subtracting from 0 to 10 with procedural reliability. They were also counting forward up to 100 and counting back from 20. Now take a look at what first graders will be expected to do by the end of this year. Now they're adding and subtracting within 20, and they're beginning to explore addition and subtraction of 2-digit and 1-digit numbers. The expectation for instruction of this benchmark does not include the use of an algorithm. The intent is for all students to deepen their understanding of place value while exploring subtraction and addition. There is no expectation of procedural reliability until grade 2, as you can see here. And then in grade 3, they'll be expected to use the standard algorithm for procedural fluency for multi-digit numbers. So looking back at those two tasks that you were doing previously, what kind of strategies did you come up with or tools did you come up with? Did you come up with any of these tools as you were solving? Did you use any of these strategies while you were solving? Let's take a look at what students will be expected to do this year. As students begin to explore addition and subtraction of 2-digit and 1-digit numbers, a strategy that they can use is composing and decomposing numbers. With this strategy, students can use the concrete tools such as linking cubes or snap cubes. Using tools like these allows them to count out a bunch of ones and then practice bundling or linking them together to make a rod of 10. They can just as easily break them apart into ones as needed. Other concrete tools for this could be straws and rubber bands, popsicle sticks, any sort of rod that they can wrap around, bundle together, and link together to show groups of 10 versus ones. We really don't want to use base 10 blocks at this point until students understand that they're bundling and breaking apart concrete objects. Once students have understanding of their concrete models when composing and decomposing, they can then build representational models. See this picture here. Students should not simply build concrete models and build representational models separately, but they should understand how the two connect. In this picture, you can see that there are the concrete tools on the outside of the 10s and 1s place value mat. This way, when students build them, they're drawing them. As a teacher, you should ask, how could you draw your concrete model? Allow them to come up with what makes sense, including how to show on their drawing that a rod of 10 was made or broken apart, just like in these two pictures below. Another strategy that students will begin using when adding and subtracting 2-digit and 1-digit numbers is counting on and counting back. This is, again, another representational model. Students can use number lines. Remember that in kindergarten, students counted to 100 but did not necessarily read or write numbers past 20. This is a great opportunity to build their foundation of numbers. Use a hundreds chart to connect counting by ones within 100 to the number line. If they cut and glue each row on the number chart, on the hundreds chart, they would create one big number line. Here's another example of a student counting on 48 plus 4. They should jump forward and back on the number line as they practice counting out loud. One misconception you might see is that students have trouble regrouping a group of 10 for 10 ones or vice versa. If students are struggling with this, it's super important to go back to having them build concrete models, especially with a place value mat. One with 10 frames can also help them understand that once they have 10 and the 10 frame is filled, they should bundle it together and create a rod, or use a rubber band to tie them together. So now, hopefully you have a strong understanding of what students will be expected to do within this scope. Remember that as students are decomposing and composing numbers, they should be building concrete models. Those concrete models can then be used to create representational models. Another representational model they'll be using is that counting on and counting back strategy. Once students are exploring this throughout first grade, in future grade levels, they'll be more prepared to use abstract thinking when adding and subtracting. Thanks for watching this Math Dive in 5. We'll see you next time.